Okay. I don't know what that was. I guess we'll see if it happens again. And if it doesn't, then, well, or if it does, then I know what the problem is. Which is that I believe that the way that I have this set up for Ethernet isn't sufficient. But I am going to check Task Manager, which I should have had open before this. But we'll see if something goes wrong. Yeah, I think that the problem is just that, how do I do this? Oh. Very strange. I don't know. I just tried using my hands instead of my controllers. But anyway, yeah, we'll see if that happens again. And if it does, I know the issue. And I can attempt to solve it before Wednesday, when there is another workshop. I'm so upset that this happened to make me lose my first ever VRChat workshop where I was actually in VR. Because I did one before, but I was a DM, and I wasn't a very good DM. I was pretty scared to do much of anything. Let's go into another world, shall we? Let's go into this world. And make sure I'm in a private instance. So that nobody joins in and says a slur. Because that would be unfortunate. I've done a few of these puzzles in the past, but I've only done like 10 of them. So we will see if I can do any more of them here. Oh, I'm getting very framey. This is actually worse than I was. In the Return to Blackwell map, which was a gigabyte. So that's kind of impressive. Let's head up this way, I guess. I haven't done this. And I have my stream open in the background, so I will hear if I disconnect. But anyway, so the way this world works is, let me see if I can find a panel to show how it works. I should have done this with one of the ones I've already done in the past. But basically, there's panels here, and there's some sort of word clue somewhere around me. Some of them are perspective puzzles, some of them are a little more involved. Interesting. That these are all positioned in this way. Unfortunately, I don't know what it's trying to get me to go for here. Maybe it's like rotation based. So like this is actually covering the R, the E, and the O. The problem with that, though, is that I think some of these would overlap. Though I don't know if that is actually a problem or not. I also don't know where the, I guess the word clue is below here, isn't it? So let's like just see. So the F would get covered, the A and the N. Well, actually, this would just make the word fans. And this could be or. Do you make anything? It would cover the A, the H, the R, the Q, and the N. So no, that wouldn't make anything. Let's see. Okay, so does anything cover this P? No. So nothing reaches the P. So I guess our word starts with the P. And there would be one in each row that doesn't get covered, judging by these arrows here. And so if you fell over, this T would be open and not get covered. But that's a bit of an issue if the first letter is P. because PT doesn't really make anything. English? I mean, it could make a Greek word, but that would be weird. Maybe there's just two. Well, no, because it would be PT. So, regardless of if there's another one in this row. Maybe I am doing this wrong. And it rotates in place. So like this, these three here actually cover these three in this row. And the only one that it covers is the N. Because that's the only one tall enough to reach here. And if that's the case, then the E is covered. And nothing, it's just the N and the E. That wouldn't work either. I'm not sure I quite understand. Let's try a different one. Let's try this one here. This seems a lot like a perspective puzzle. Like if I go to a specific angle and look at it, this would spell words. Or rather, one word. Then again, there is quite a lot of stuff here for that, so I'm not actually sure if that's the case. Oh, wait. Maybe it's a light-based thing? And that's what the perspective is? Because you can see how at the right angle this illuminates and becomes a line. I would need to find a way back up if I want to do this, though. But yeah, I think I found my issue from before. I don't see any words from this angle. Or that one. If I had to guess, it would be somewhere on the outside of the bowl. Why is it so incredibly laggy? I don't even know if the stream sees the lag, to be honest. It might not. There's also these circles. Ah. I see. I think I get it. So each one of these things in front of me, these things, they have a circle on the bottom, right? And so if you picked it up and you placed it so that each of the circles is on one of the circles here, then the empty space would kind of form an M, and on this one it would form a U, right? Because it's hanging from the top. And over here in S, and here it would be an E. So I think this is Muse. No? Did I do something wrong? This would be the M. This would be a U. Oh, is there another one? Oh, there is over here. But this would be another... Unless it's Musen. But Musen isn't a word, I don't... Oh, there's another one here, too. Which would be... Museum. That's a U, not an M, and then this one's an M. So I think it's museum. Let's go. I got it right. Okay. And then somewhere related to here, there's another one. Which is a little confusing to me. Because I don't see anything. Maybe this has to do with all the floating stuff? And somehow the shadows spell stuff? Not that I can see. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's check this perspective one. I think is a perspective one at least. From the outer rim. And if you're wondering, yes, I am sitting down. So let's see if this pile of stuff forms anything. I've looked at from the right angle. I don't know if it's intentional, but I do kind of see an A there. And maybe like an F. Right, because there's 5 distinct things here. I think. But from this angle, that looks more like a T. I'm going to try to trace it with my finger. And there. Before, I saw an A here. This one might just be too complicated for me. Unless that light thing happens here. I mean, it does happen, but there's not enough variety in the directions of the lines for me to think that that would ever matter. Well, alright. Let's just go to a different area, I guess, then. Let's see what's up here. So immediately, it's clear that this is meant to say something. Because, like, directly above me, right, you have a V, or maybe an A, and maybe an N or a U. Probably a U here. I, T. So I guess from this direction, right? If we go all the way to the end. We would have... But what is this? This confuses me. Maybe... Let's just skip that for now. This would be an N. I. What is this? Oh, this is an N. Across. So maybe that isn't an N. Maybe that's just empty space. So I-N... A. But, well, there's two A's. In a row. Unless it's I-N-A-V-A. I-T. So it was... I'm just going to put an X for where I don't know. X-I-N-A-V-A-I-T. Let's try from the other side. Because, well, maybe there is only one side. But this is confusing me. This part here. This is confusing me because it's clearly something. They wouldn't have included it otherwise. There's something there. And then maybe this is a D. And then I don't know. I'll come back to it. This definitely looks like another perspective thing. So I'm sure from some perspective, this forms some sort of word. Or maybe there's a perspective for each of the individual letters. See what this has for me. A big question is the answer. Because you obviously have like an L, an N, and a T, and another L. What the hell is this, though? Bracket underscore? Like, that's not a letter. Oh, there's more just random stuff around. Lovely. Okay. Well, then this all might be something as well. This actually looks like it might be empty space related. Because the empty space on that looks like a Z. But what would the empty space here be? Maybe, and this is a big maybe. Maybe like a lowercase e. I don't know. This one I think is an M. Right, on the top. That is either an O or a Q. You know, my empty space theory is having less weight each time. Like, what the hell would this even be? A rectangle? Well, maybe it's an L. On the top there. But this is meaningless. And this, I mean, don't even get me started on this. Wait, no, this one is a Q. Never mind. So, I do have a theory that the triangles matter. But I'm a little confused. So, like, if we take this and we look at the triangles, right? Imagine there is a line extending from each of the triangles. So from this one, it goes up, this one goes up, this one goes up, and this one goes across, right? And so what you're left with is the M. That makes sense, at least to me. And it's the same over here. So there's the M. This one, the line goes across, the line goes up, and the line goes across. And there's our Z. Although MZ isn't a word. This line goes across, and then that line up there goes across, and we have a V. Just from the other direction. And so far we have MZV. But maybe that could be an E, I guess. If you rotated it. Because, I mean, obviously this is not a V from this direction. And here we have another M or E, or I guess also could be a W. So, I really wish I had like a notepad on me. This one is the L, and that lines up with the triangle theory. This one, though, is throwing me off. Because if we just go based on the triangle theory, there's only two, so it has to be an L. But then why is there this? And then down there is an wait, I thought the next up was the E. This one is maybe it's an O. But then yeah, wait, I think this is an O. Maybe this triangle just counts for both. And if that's an O, then over here it would be a Q, right? Because there's something sitting on top there, and it's just rotated. But then we have an issue of we have a Q and no U. Right. So, I mean, from this order, it would be, well, it would be MZV. But let's go EZV, just so that there's a chance. EZV, if it's another M, it fails. EZVEL. Esvel isn't a word. Or at least it doesn't start a word. Esvelo. PE. So, could this be an N? It could. It's envelope. I hope I got across my way of thinking through that. There are collectibles in this, by the way. If I can reach it. There we go. So I got envelope. I actually have to go back down now. Hello, Surfcaster. With all the lag spikes I've gotten, I'm honestly a bit surprised that I'm still live here. So this, let's try to get, well, I was going to try to get that one. We could try this first, though. I'm not sure what this is. It looks like some sort of maze. This might be easier from below. I don't know, though. So we go based on the shape of the walls and say that if there is something in either the top or the bottom, then we draw a line. So we have this all the way back, across, all the way up here, but we have a bit of an issue. What we're left with seems to be an 8 with a line on the top. So what if instead we go for where there isn't anything? Well, we would be left with empty, empty, and then the back 2, which would be, I guess, an L. It's a bit weird that this is done in groups of 2 by 2. I would have expected letters to be 1 by 2. But okay, so does this have any points? Yeah, there's this line here. This would be a thing. This would be a thing. And that's it. We have an underscore. That's a bit of an issue. So I must be doing this wrong. Oh, maybe the top and the bottom are separate. Because what we have is this line going across. This is the arrow. The line goes across and then across again. So we start at the bottom, go that way, and then go to the top and go that way. So what we have here is meaningless. Yeah, it's meaningless. No, wait, it's not. That's a G. And then here we would go F, but then it goes across, so it's GA. And then we have the bottom line, we have the side line, we have the top line. GAC. Side. I don't think this forms a letter. Sideline all the way across in the middle. The heck? Am I missing something here? This was working flawlessly before. But we have like a lowercase h on this half. And then some random stuff on this half. The only thing that I could possibly think of is that this is meant to be like an N. But even then it wouldn't really work. I wish I had some way to like note down it. But the shape it makes is you have this, and then it goes across and down, but then also across and up. Or sorry, down and across and up, and then on this side it just is a straight line. So I don't get it. So let's just go GAC and then something. Wait. It's a K. The heck starts with GAC? I don't know. This here looks like it's probably an F. Oh god, what happened? Okay, there we are. Yeah, so that's an F. Over here, we have an I. Here we have another K, and then an E. What the heck is Gak Fike? This is actually an E, yes? Because it certainly looks like it from here. Yeah. This is definitely an E. Did I get this one wrong? Well, if I got this one wrong, I got the one down below wrong, because they're both the same. And this is, in fact, an I. No question about that one. Is this an F? Looks like it to me. And then just to make sure that this is the G. Wait, this might not be a G. This isn't a G. We go... Huh? Now this is confusing. Maybe it's a B. And the lower one is just bigger. But if it's back fike is still not a thing. But at least it's better than Gak Fike. What could this be? Because the issue is that these K's are the same, aren't they? Yeah, these K's are both the same So if I got one of the K's wrong, so like if one of them isn't a K, they're both not a K, which is a problem. What if it's backfire? Okay. So I guess one of them just wasn't a K? Oh, this one's not a K because it has the top line. I didn't see that before. Okay. Let's head down to this one. So this... Oh my god, okay. So this... I mean, you could see it as an O. From a perspective. But it could also be an X. And I can prove that to you from here. There's the X. But I highly doubt that it's going to start with an X. So it's probably an O. And this would be maybe a T? O-T-N? Well, now this is another O. Unless it's a C. O-T-N-C is meaningless. So, O-T-N-O, but that's also meaningless. Especially since seemingly we have another O. Which would be O-T-N-O-O. And then I guess this is like a U. We have too many vowels. Well, this has to be an I. There's no other way. It can't be anything else. And it can't be two I's either. I guess it might be two L's. But, I doubt it, though. I think that's an I. The only thing here I can think of is that maybe it's a wonky Z? And so we end with U-I-Z. Could this be a Q? No. There was nothing indicating that this would be a queue. Which is a bit of a problem. I don't get it. Let's try this again. And by the way, this arrow is why I think it goes that way. So what could this be? Maybe it is an S. If that's an S, SNI, and then another N. AVA and IT. I missed some letters there, didn't I? I don't think I actually missed any letters. My concern is this looks suspiciously like a flipped upside down G. Right? That's the inside and then it goes around. So if I were to assume that this is mirrored, then the N gets flipped and it can't be. Okay, so never mind. But then I have the issue of what on earth is this? Why is there this random thing between the I and the N? And why does the N have this line in it? I suppose theoretically this could be an F. If it's an F though, then what would this be? It would be nothing. INA A I mean, it definitely ends in a T. There's nothing else that this could be. That's definitely a T. And that's an I. And I'm hesitant to call this an N. And the reason I'm hesitant to is because it would share the A's right line. But if it's not an N, then why the gap? Are there any words that end in VAIT? Not that I know of. So I think that that'll be it for the stream. Hope you had a good one. And I will see you on Wednesday, assuming Twitch works. Goodbye.